Chosen one, don't leave this video, because you need to understand what you must do to be wise when the money comes. You didn't arrive at this video by accident. Do you feel it? The pressure in the air, that different weight when you wake up, as if something invisible is being repositioned around you. You've noticed that the winds have changed. The people around you seem distant. Conversations that used to flow now sound empty. Invitations you used to receive simply stopped coming. And deep down, way down where you keep the truth you don't say out loud, you know this isn't punishment. It's preparation. What's knocking at your door right now isn't beginner's luck. It's not chance. It's the result of a silent sowing that heaven decided to honor right now. And I need you to understand, the way you handle the next 90 days will determine whether this blessing will be a passing event or an eternal legacy. Because here's the danger no one tells you about. The world will try to convince you to shout your victory. They'll say, show those who doubted. Post it on social media. Let everyone see that you won. And that voice will be so seductive, so convincing, that you'll think it's your own intuition speaking. But I'm here to tell you the truth that separates amateurs from the chosen. True prosperity requires what we call genetic silence, the rare ability to completely change your life without changing a millimeter of your essence. I understand the temptation. We know how much you want to prove yourself, how much you carried on your back while others just watched, how much you bled in silence while pretending you were fine. But listen carefully. If you act like an amateur, your abundance will be temporary. The universe will give you a taste of victory, and then it will snatch everything back because you weren't ready to hold the weight of the blessing. But if you act like a chosen one, it will be a legacy. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly why your silence today is the insurance for your wealth tomorrow. I'm going to reveal the biblical strategy that men like Isaac used to prosper in the midst of envy. And I'm going to teach you the principle of the clay vessel, the only way to carry divine treasure without being destroyed by the blessing itself. You were marked for this. Now comes the part where you decide, will you display and lose, or will you govern and multiply? The clock has started. Now I need you to understand something that goes against everything the world has taught you about success. What God is placing in your hands right now is a high-voltage seed. And if you open the soil too early to show others, the son of envy will dry out the root before it even has a chance to grow. I know you want to share. I know there are people you love and believe deserve to know. But let me ask you a question that will change your perspective. If you planted a diamond in the ground, would you put up a sign indicating exactly where you buried it? No, because you know that value attracts predators. And here's the naked truth about prosperity. Great ideas and great fortunes die when exposed before their time. Always, it's not superstition, it's spiritual physics. It's the principle of incubation. Have you ever seen an egg? Fragile on the outside, miracle on the inside. But that thin shell exists for a reason. It creates a controlled environment where life can form without external interference. The chick needs darkness, silence, and constant temperature. If you break the shell early to show others the process, you don't accelerate the miracle. You kill it. The blessing coming into your life is like that. It needs a protected ecosystem. It needs your discretion as a spiritual incubator, because the world out there doesn't understand what God is doing in you. They'll look at your seed and say it's too small. They'll doubt, they'll criticize, and that energy will contaminate the soil. God is using this transition time to filter who deserves to be at your table when the harvest comes. Silence isn't loneliness. It's the divine test that separates destiny partners from passengers of convenience. Think with me. Who's by your side right now, in this moment of silent preparation, when nothing is visible yet? These are the people who will be with you when everything manifests, because they didn't need evidence to believe. They felt your frequency of alignment. But those who only show up when the fruit is already ripe, those are the plunderers of others' destiny. They don't want to celebrate your victory. They want to feed off it. And here's what I call the radar of envy. Where there's light, there are insects. Where there's prosperity, there are eyes. You need to learn to shine from within while walking discreetly on the outside. Because envy isn't just a bad feeling people have. It's a destructive force that operates on frequencies you can't see. It enters as concern, as unsolicited advice, as someone trying to protect you while planting seeds of doubt in your mind. Envy disguises itself as love, and if you don't have discernment, you'll open the door of your house to the enemy thinking you're receiving a friend. I'm not asking you to be cold. I'm not telling you to cut everyone off. I'm teaching you the difference between sharing and exposing, between trusting and being naive, between generosity and self-sabotage. You can love people without giving them the map to your treasure. You can be grateful without turning your journey into public entertainment. And you can prosper so discreetly that by the time people notice the change in your life, you'll already be so established that nothing they say or do can reverse the process. That's the shielding of the ecosystem. It's not paranoia. It's ancestral wisdom. It's what separates those who build empires from those who just have a moment of luck. Because in the end, the difference between wealth and prosperity is this. Wealth is what you have. Prosperity is what you can keep, multiply, and transfer to the next generation. And that only happens when you understand that not everyone needs to know what God is doing in your life. Some only need to feel the result. Let me tell you a secret that the truly prosperous know but rarely reveal. Those who prove much have little. Read that again. Slowly, let this truth settle. The need for display is the cry for help from a soul that still feels poor. It doesn't matter how much money it has in the account. Doesn't matter how many zeros appear on the statement. If it needs others to see in order to feel validated, it's still operating on a scarcity frequency. And here's what no one tells you. The truly prosperous don't need approval. They need alignment. Think about the difference. Approval is external, volatile, dependent on others, moods and perceptions. Today, they applaud you. Tomorrow, they crucify you. It's an emotional roller coaster where you're never in control. But alignment is internal. It's you in tune with the purpose God placed in you. It's waking up and knowing, without needing to check social media, that you're on the right path. That's wealth no one can take away. Now, what I'm going to tell you will seem contradictory at first, but stay with me because this will change how you view prosperity. God is giving you resources so you can buy your freedom, not so you can buy admirers. Listen again. Freedom, not admiration. Others. Admiration is a volatile currency that loses value every day. Today you're celebrated, tomorrow you're forgotten. It's like trying to build a house on quicksand, but God's peace, the peace that comes from knowing you're fulfilling your purpose, that's an eternal asset. And there's something deeper I need to show you about this psychology. When you display, you create expectations. People start to see you a certain way. They create an image in their heads of what you should be, how you should act, what you should conquer next. And without realizing it, you become a prisoner of that image. You start making decisions not based on what God is guiding you to do, but based on what people expect from you. You buy things you don't need. You frequent places that don't feed you. You maintain relationships that drain you, all to sustain a narrative you yourself created for the audience. That's not prosperity. That's a prison with expensive furniture. But there's an even deeper level to this truth, and this is where most people completely lose the game. The greatest sophistication of the chosen one is having the extraordinary in the account and the ordinary in behavior. Let me translate that in a way that will cut deep. You can have millions and wear flip-flops, can have power and speak softly, can have knowledge and ask simple questions. Why? Because true wealth doesn't need a costume. Look at real billionaires, not those who inherited and spend to compensate for lack of purpose. I'm talking about those who built from scratch. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same grey t-shirt every day. Why? Because they understood something most will never understand. Showiness is a waste of mental energy. Every decision you make about what others will think is energy you could be using to build, create, expand. It's mental bandwidth being burned on vanity while it could be invested in vision. And here's the plot twist I need you to process right now. When you choose external simplicity, even while having internal abundance, you're doing two things simultaneously. You're protecting yourself from envy, and you're freeing yourself from the slavery of image. No one envies what they can't see. And you don't exhaust yourself trying to maintain appearances you never promised. This is what I call identity reconstruction. You stop being what you have and become who you are. And that transition, my friend, is the watershed between those who accumulate and those who govern. Because in the end, real prosperity isn't about how much you show. It's about how much you can carry without letting the weight change you on the inside. It's about having the Ferrari in the garage and still having the humility to ask for directions when you're lost. It's about having a full account and an even fuller heart. That's the hidden trump card. And only the chosen understand this game. Now I'm going to show you a biblical story that most people read, but few truly understand. Genesis 26. Isaac, son of Abraham, is living among the Philistines. And the Bible says something that should make you stop and pay attention. Isaac planted crops in that land, and the same year reaped 100-fold, and because the Lord blessed him, 100 times more. In 1 year. But here's what happened when the blessing became visible. The Philistines began to envy him. And you know what they did. They stopped up Isaac's wells. They filled with dirt the same wells that his father, Abraham, had dug. Let me translate this to your life right now. The wells represent your sources, your ideas, your strategic relationships, your opportunities, everything that generates flow in your life. And when the people around you realize you're prospering, they're going to try to stop up your wells. Not always in an obvious way. Sometimes it's a doubt planted at the wrong time. Sometimes it's family drama right when you're about to close a deal. Sometimes it's sincere concern that's actually envy disguised as care. They throw dirt on your sources. And here's the lesson Isaac teaches us. He didn't stay there fighting. He didn't try to convince the Philistines that he deserved those wells. He didn't waste time and energy proving his right. He moved. He dug another well, called it Esek. They fought again. He moved again, dug another, called it Sitnah. More conflict. And then Isaac did something revolutionary. He dug a third well, called it Rehoboth, which means room or broad places. And the Bible says, now the Lord has given us room. Do you understand the pattern? Isaac dug in silence until God gave him space. He didn't get stuck trying to defend the wrong territory. He understood that some battles are traps from the enemy to keep you stagnant, fighting over crumbs, while God prepared a banquet somewhere else. In your life today, this means know when to withdraw from the argument to focus on expansion. That relative who criticizes your every move, it's not your job to convince them. That friend who always has a negative observation about your plans, dig somewhere else. That energy trying to pull you back into the drama, Rehoboth, move. Because there's something Isaac discovered that you need to internalize now. When you stop defending your blessing before men, God becomes the general who defends your territory. After Isaac arrived at Rehoboth, you know what happened. The king of the Philistines himself, Abimelech, came to him and said, "We can see plainly that the Lord is with you." They no longer needed to be convinced. The blessing became so evident that even the enemies recognized it. But that only happened because Isaac chose to dig in silence instead of fight in public. So here's your question for today. Where are you wasting energy trying to defend wells God already told you to abandon? Where are you fighting over Esek and Sitnah when God has already prepared your Rehoboth? The broad place is waiting, but you only get there when you learn to move in silence. But you're in luck, because I'm going to teach you how to move in silence. Paul wrote something in 2 Corinthians 4 that most people quote, but few actually apply. We have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. Read that phrase one more time, because it contains the complete code for how to carry prosperity without being destroyed by it. Treasure, jar of clay, two elements, a purposeful contrast. The treasure is what God places inside you. It's the anointing, the provision, the wisdom, the resources, the purpose. It's valuable, rare, precious. But the vessel? The vessel is simple, common, humble. And this isn't by accident. Let me ask you a question that will reveal whether you truly understood this truth. If you had to choose between a gold vessel encrusted with diamonds and a clay vessel to store something extremely valuable, which would you choose? Most would say, obviously the gold vessel. Wrong, because the gold vessel attracts all eyes. Everyone wants to touch it, admire it, possess it. The vessel becomes more important than the content. And worse, it attracts thieves. But the clay vessel, no one looks twice. It goes unnoticed. And that's exactly why the treasure inside it is safe. This is the aesthetic of humility that separates those who accumulate from those who multiply. In your practical life, this means keep your clay appearance so the internal treasure grows in safety, not out of falsehood, not out of pretense, but out of spiritual strategy. You can have the $1 million account and still drive the simple car, can have access to circles of power and still have lunch at the corner restaurant, can have knowledge that would change lives and still ask basic questions to learn more. Why? Because when you become the spectacle, the content gets lost. Think about influencers who exploded overnight. Fast money, instant fame, spotlights. Where are most of them today? Broke, empty, desperate for relevance. You know why? Because they became the gold vessel. All the attention went to the container. The content was lost. But look at the true legacy builders. They're discreet, almost invisible. You don't see them on magazine covers. They're not posting every achievement. But they're transforming nations behind the curtains. They understood. God entrusts wealth to vessels that don't try to be more brilliant than the content they carry. Be the channel, not the monument. The channel lets the water flow. It doesn't retain for itself. It directs. It doesn't exalt itself. It serves the purpose. And because of that, the water never stops passing through it. But the monument stands still being admired. It doesn't generate flow. It just takes up space and waits for applause. And here's the final truth of this chapter, the one you need to tattoo on your soul. Prosperity didn't come to make you famous. It came to make you free. Free to be who God planned. Free to serve without fear. Free to give without calculating. Free to live without needing to prove anything to anyone. And that freedom only comes when you accept being the clay vessel that carries heaven's treasure. Simple on the outside, powerful on the inside, unnoticed by the world, but completely visible to God. If you've made it this far, something has already changed in you irreversibly. You're not the same person who hit play on this video a few minutes ago. You feel it in your chest, a clarity that wasn't there before, an authority you didn't know you carried within yourself. And I need to tell you something that will sound strange, but you'll feel as absolute truth. You didn't find this video by accident or algorithm. You were found by it because there's a moment in the life of every chosen one where heaven decides it's time to activate what was dormant. That moment has arrived for you now. And what I'm going to tell you isn't cheap motivation or reheated self-help. It's a decree over your life that you'll feel in your bones, in your gut, in your soul. Scarcity has completely left your life. Let that truth reverberate in every cell of your body. Scarcity is over, but it cannot take your prudence with it. Because you're no longer a survivor begging for crumbs at others' tables. You're a governor of kingdom resources, and governors don't manage out of fear, they govern through heavenly wisdom. That time of desperately chasing is definitively over. The time of magnetically attracting has begun. That exhausting cycle of proving your worth to people who will never see it has ended. The cycle of manifesting your true essence has started with full force. You're no longer in line waiting for your turn. You were called directly to sit at the table. But here's what separates those who actually sit at the table from those who just look through the window. The internal recognition of what God has already decreed externally. So I'm going to ask you something now that isn't symbolic. It's real spiritual activation. Close your eyes for 10 seconds right now and give thanks for the provision no one sees yet. Give thanks for the contracts being signed in dimensions your physical eyes can't reach at this moment. Give thanks for the doors opening while you sleep, for the shielding being placed around your family, your business, your mind. This is the tithe of your attention directed straight to the source of everything. And when you do this with sincerity, something shifts in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Heaven recognizes those who recognize it with reverence and gratitude. Now listen to what I'm going to tell you, like a father would speak to a son before a decisive battle. Don't reveal your financial gains. Reveal your earned wisdom. Don't display your material growth. Display your genuine gratitude. Don't prove your monetary value. Prove your unshakable character. Because the world is already saturated with people who are rich and completely empty inside. But the chosen are different. They're prosperous and simultaneously full of purpose, substance, and meaning. If you accept being the clay vessel that carries heaven's treasure with humility and responsibility, write something that shows this in the comments now. It's not just a random word. It's a sacred covenant between you and the heavenly. Noise wastes precious energy. Strategic silence accumulates exponential power. Go now and govern in absolute quietness. Your new season has begun, and this time you're going to do it differently. This time you're going to make it eternal.